Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving my predictions, my early Premier League predictions for next season, the 2022 to 2023 season. But it's a twist. I'm going to be predicting who's going to stay up and which teams are going to get relegated. Because last season we saw an epic display of teams fighting it out to stay up. Unfortunately for Burnley, unfortunately for Norwich as well, and other teams, they actually got relegated. So let's see who will be able to stay up. Do you think the Premier League sides which just got promoted will be able to stay up, like Bournemouth with Scott Parker, Liam Cooper leading Nottingham Forest, their first time in the big time in what, 20-30 years or so? And we even got Fulham, a yo-yo club. So what teams do you think will be able to survive the drop? And what teams, surprising teams like Southampton, potentially even Everton next season, do you think will get relegated next year? However, before going this video, you know what I'm going to say, make sure you guys like, comment and hit that big subscribe button right there, because only 10% of you guys are actually subscribed to my channel. And make sure you guys give me your own predictions in the comment section, which teams will get relegated. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to be giving my predictions for 11th to 28th place. If you guys haven't seen my predictions for 10th to 1st, make sure you guys check out later on after this video. So the first team I have finishing in 11th place, it is Crystal Palace, and I feel like they're going to do very well. I just love the appointment of Patrick Vieira, the way he's seamlessly been able to transform Crystal Palace in their way of playing a more attacking style football, which the fans have gravitated to. And so many pundits, so many fans, even me, I thought they weren't going to be able to transition such in a great fashion so easily, when we know they have been stuck in their ways of defensive structured football under Ray Hudson. I know next season they are going to be missing the impact, one of their most talented players, of Gallagher, because he's going back to his parent club. So obviously in that aspect, the tenacity, the work rate and the quality in the final third, Vieira will be missing that. But I just feel like the way Crystal Palace right now has been run, I feel like they'll be able to find another rough diamond which they can start in their ranks. They also got other talented players who I feel like will make their mark next season. Obviously Eze was injured for half of the season last year. Elise coming in from Reading, they're showing glimpses. So let's see if they'll be able to venture off into next season and really improve more of a consistent basis. They still have defenders like Gahey and Mitchell, so they still have a stubborn, stable defense which we know can keep clean sheets. And obviously they still have their key talisman, who we know has been one of their best players in the last decade or so, Wilfred Zaha, and I still expect him to bag in goals and assists and to make real impact in the final third, really causing havoc against teams he's facing. So in that aspect, mixed with youth and experience and a proven manager who's shown that it isn't going to take him long to adjust his new ideas to a new squad, I feel like having another season under his belt, we're going to see much more consistent displays from Crystal Palace. So the next team I have finishing in 12th place, it is Aston Villa. And honestly, I feel like they'll be much more improved compared to last year. I really trust Steven Gerrard, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Liverpool fan, but ever since he took the helm, obviously Dean Smith getting sacked, I feel like defensively he has made them sound, very tough to beat, especially at Villa Park. Steven Gerrard has really adapted his style of play, a physical toughness battle, especially in the midfield, and I feel like mixed with this with real talent in the final third, I feel like Aston Villa will do very well to finish in 12th place, 2 places ahead from their last Premier League finish in 14th place. I love players like Ramsey, McGinn in the midfield, making it really tough for any sort of players to play tiki-taka football or really break off into the final third. We know Ramsey got a goal in him, a late runner into the box to get goals, and we know players like Felipe Coutinho, one of the best signings of last season, the way he was able to pick the ball up in pockets of space and really score great goals and get assists. And I know the signings of last season weren't really playing up to scratch, players like Buendia, Ings, so I expect a full season under the belt, they'll be able to perform on a much more consistent basis, especially with Steven Gerrard having a pre-season, really embedding his ideas into the squad so the players will know week in, week out how to play his style of football and get results. So overall, I feel like Aston Villa have so much talent that it's going to be impossible for me to see them getting anywhere near the relegation zone. Obviously, they've shown their intent in the transfer window already, signing Diego Carlos, so I feel like a back four of Diego Carlos, his experience mixed with Consort, a young up-and-coming talent, will be a great fit because they complement each other well, and I think the mistakes will be eliminated because we know Tyrone Mings is one to give chances to the opposition. So the next team I have finishing 13th, it may surprise people, but I got Everton. Even I'm thinking, is this a little bit too high for the Merseyside Blue club? The last season we just saw was one of the worst seasons in their club's history. I feel like it won't be just as bad because they have returning players of Calvert-Lewin, and we know he's so important with the way Everton love to play, getting crosses in, playing with a strong, big, powerful target man so he can bring other players into play. They missed him alongside Decore, who we know has the presence, the physicality and the power to dominate the midfield battle. So I feel like just in that aspect, Everton do get better. Also, the toxicity, the bad hostile environment, I feel like will be gone a little bit from Everton because we know Rafa Benitez is no longer in charge of the Merseyside Blue Club. I feel like the club is much more united, especially under Frank Lampard, who proved himself that he has the guts, he has the ability to unite a club together to ensure that they can survive from Premier League relegation. So I feel like now it's a fresh start for Everton. Frank Lampard obviously having a pre-season under his belt to get his ideas into the players' minds so they'll be able to perform on a more consistent basis. Also, I feel like Richarlison's going to be key, obviously, because he was literally their talisman, scoring important goals to ensure Everton's survival. We know he's really one of the best players at the club. So if he stays mixed with Calvert-Lewin, I think they'll make some sort of noise climbing up the table compared to last year. Also, I feel like Frank Lampard stumbled across something last year because we know that he wanted to play out from the back, but we know his centre-back pairing, we're not used to this. They weren't comfortable with ball to feet. So I feel like now he knows that's not going to work, and Jamie Carragher said it best. He said that Everton are at their best when they make Goodison Park a compact, tight pitch where it's based off individual duels of physicality, tackles, getting stuck in, literally trying to intimidate your opposition, not this fancy free-flowing football. And if Everton can return to this on a more consistent basis, even if this is a typical 4-4-2 football, I think they'll be able to pick up enough points at home to survive in the Premier League. So the next team I have finishing 14th is Brighton FC. And funny enough, I know they finished 9th last season, but if you asked any Brighton fan right now, would they take this place I'm offering them right now? They would take it in a heartbeat. No question, no doubt about it. Look what has already happened in this transfer window. They have lost their best player, in my opinion, Basuma, who was key to Graham Potter football. He literally gave other players the license to drive forward with the ball, get into more dangerous areas because he knew that he had the defensive awareness and the mindset to sit back to protect the back three. If you eliminate this, one of the key players in their spine, Brighton are going to be left much more vulnerable defensively, and they were quite vulnerable last year because they barely picked up any points at home. So going this season, I think that's going to be a worry. Also, we got the left wing back situation in Cucurella. We know Manchester City are desperate to sign him, and when Manchester City start offering teams like Brighton money, they're obviously going to snatch them hands off with that money and sell him. So that aspect as well, Cucurella bombing down the left hand side, getting into dangerous areas and being defensively sound, they're going to miss that as well. Also, we've known for years now that Brighton do not have a clinical number 9. Mupay's not the answer, Welbeck's not the answer, and going into every single season, there's always the question mark of who's going to bag the all-important goals of 15 Premier League goals a season, and Brighton still do not have this. I don't have them getting relegated because I believe in Graham Potter, and he has proved time and time after again, even with bad personnel not up to the scratch, he knows how to make wine out of water, and I feel like they'll be able to survive comfortably. They still have talented players like Trossard, Lamptey coming back another year removed from that horrific injury he suffered. So I feel like they have enough talent to ensure Premier League survival. So the next team I have finishing 15th is Brentford FC. And let me just talk about how amazing their season was last year. What an epic and incredible performance from the club to get into 13th place when so many people, so many pundits had them going down. One of the best performances in their club's history, and let's see if they'll be able to build upon this next season. However, I have them teetering off a little bit. I don't feel like they'll finish 13th. I have them finishing 15th next season because they're not going to have Christian Eriksen. And don't get me wrong, I know they've done very well without Christian Eriksen before he came, but it just felt like when he came, the team started to form around him because he was that spark, he was that creative player, provided wizardry into the final third, creating real chances for Ivan Toney. When you remove this sort of quality from the squad, it's going to be so hard to perform on a much more consistent basis, putting chances for players like Ivan Toney to feed off. However, I don't have Brentford going down. I don't think they'll get relegated. They still have the talisman Ivan Toney, who was responsible to getting 13 to 15 Premier League goals last season. Also, I feel like I trust Thomas Frank. I love his versatility, his willingness to adapt to different situations and different scenarios, whether that's tinkering from a 3 at the back to a 4 at the back. He really doesn't mind playing pragmatic football to ensure that he gets the result. And I feel like Brentford at home are proven and they know how to get results, even if that's against the top teams. They beat Arsenal at home last season. They literally drew to Liverpool and Tottenham at home last season, gave Chelsea, Manchester City tough games at home last season. I just feel like that environment, the aura within playing at their home stadium is amazing. And I feel like the loyal fans, especially at home, will make the all-important difference to ensure that Brentford are nowhere near the relegation zone next year. I trust the club when it comes to summer signings because we know they have a fantastic recruitment scheme. So the next team I have finishing in 16th place is Nottingham Forest. And I hold my hands up. This is really hard overhead because I want Nottingham Forest to stay up. I feel like it has been an injustice that they have not been in the top division for 40 years or so. Literally, Nottingham Forest are one of the biggest clubs in this country. And how the fact have they not been playing Premier League football yet? So let's see if they'll be able to stay up this season. And I think they will. I know there's going to be so many doubters. And you know what? There's not much I can say. They literally had 4 players who are key and pivotal last season for them to get promoted. They're not going to be at the club. Also, other factors of Liam Cooper. He's a new young manager. I know he's done well in the last 3 years or so at Swansea and even at Nottingham Forest. However, there's always going to be that massive ask. Can he do in the big time? Can he do in the Premier League? Also, Nottingham Forest, when it comes to their players, not much Premier League experience. Do they have what it takes to play in the big league? Also, Spence is leaving for Tottenham, it looks like, because Antonio Conte wants a new wing back. So what will Nottingham Forest do to replace one of their key men on that flank? I don't know. There's so many questions which I don't have answers to. However, I just feel like Nottingham Forest at home is going to be the all-important factor to ensure Premier League safety. We saw last season in the FA Cup runs, we saw against Leicester City, we saw against Arsenal, they were able to beat both teams comfortably, and I just feel like the aura and the spirit in that stadium is just going to be at an all-time high to ensure that Nottingham Forest can get very important results when they desperately need it. I feel like they'll be able to rise to the occasion just like Brentford did last season, and I just feel like they're going to relish this opportunity playing in a big time, and they'll give their all throughout the season. So the next team I have finishing in 17th place, it is Leeds. Yet again, I feel like it's going to be a nail-biting end for this club, the Yorkshire club, to literally fend off Premier League relegation. It's going to be difficult, but I feel like they'll just scrape through in their last game yet again. The reason why I have Leeds staying up this year is because they're going to have their spine back. We know Bamford suffered so many injuries last year, didn't really have an impact on the side in scoring goals. We also know Calvin Phillips didn't really play that much because he suffered so many injuries, and he is so important and decisive when it comes to breaking the lines in that CDM role and providing protection for the back 4. So if you put these 2 players back into the team, we know Leeds instantly get better. However, the reason why I don't feel like they'll climb throughout the table because I feel like Rafinha is going to leave, and we know how important, how significant he was to literally carrying that side to Premier League safety. I know they signed Brendan Harrison, who may be looking as the player to fill the void of Rafinha, but is he really going to hit the ground running? I know Jesse Marsch has worked with him before at Salzburg, and Salzburg had an epic run in the Champions League last year, getting into last 16, so potentially Harrison can make noise in the Premier League, but it's just going to be a massive ask to put the weight of the world on this young player's shoulders to help Leeds instantly. Christensen obviously is going to be a great signing at that right back position. He can play right back and right wing, showing his versatility, and we know Leeds last season were very poor when it came to conceding many goals. So will he provide more defensive stability for the Yorkshire club? But you know what? I just don't see them finishing any higher because, like I said, Rafinha is going to be a massive miss when he goes. So the first team I have getting relegated is going to be a surprise. It is Southampton at 18th place. I know you guys are probably thinking they're Premier League proven, they're battle test, they have all the experience in the world, they know how to deal with the hardships of poor form, but at the end of the day, I don't trust their striker position. We know Broja played a massive role in their season last year when he was able to bag so many goals for them. How are they going to replace this? We know Armstrong and Che Adams are good squad players, but none of them have the capability of being that star man, the talisman to lead Southampton on the front lines. I know James Ward-Prowse is a phenomenal player, and we know he embodies the spirit of Southampton, literally being there since a youngster, and we know he's a set piece specialist and he's a box to box. He has more to his game than just being a dead ball taker. But at the end of the day, I feel like in the last few seasons, it's been hard to maintain his fitness, and I feel like he is going to be injured in some aspects of the season, and it's going to be so hard for Southampton to replace this. So the next team I have finishing in 19th place is actually Fulham. And I know you guys are probably thinking they have a new manager who came in last year, Marco Silva, who showed his impact straight away, getting the club north of 100 points in last year's championships table, playing effective football. Why can't he literally replicate that in the big time of the Premier League? But we know there's a massive leap and there's a massive jump, and it's going to be so difficult, just like Fulham has been shown so many times in the past, for them to stay up and be effective. I just feel like going into next season, Fulham are going to struggle. Mitrovic, we know, is one of the best strikers in the world when he plays in the championship, always scoring around 25 championship goals. North of that, he's literally a handful for any opposition to deal with. But we know when he comes into the big time, he's literally silent. He's zipped up. He doesn't have the same tenacity. He doesn't have the same ferociousness in the final third to really dominate games. And I feel like this is going to be a problem for Fulham to score goals. Also, Fabio Carvalho was massive towards Mitrovic when it came to scoring goals, his assists, his creativity. The fact that he's not going to be returning to Craven Cottage on loan because Liverpool looks like they want to start him next season is going to be a massive miss. So the two fundamental players who were so pivotal for Fulham's success last year is going to be pretty much ineffective because one of them is leaving and one of them we know is not proven in the big time. Also, we've already seen Marco Silva at this level. He's not Premier League proven. He's not Premier League battle tested. We've seen him manage teams like Everton. He hasn't had great success there, even other Premier League sides. So there's so many reasons to doubt Fulham for them to actually stay up this season. Also, we know Fulham are notoriously famous to being a yo-yo club. There's been so many instances in the past that their recruitment scheme, their structure has been very poor. They have been able to spend money, but they have not done it effectively, they've not done it efficiently, and they've not been smart and shrewd in their business. So even if they sign a few players to replace Fabio Carvalho or improve defensively or in the midfield, which I feel like they still need to do, I don't feel like it will make that much of a distance to improve Fulham for them to avoid relegation next season. So the next team I have finishing in 20th place, rock bottom, is actually Bournemouth. And I know they have the young, aspiring coach in Scott Parker, who we know plays entertaining football, who is actually managing the Premier League before with Fulham, and they also have a young, aspiring squad with players like Cantwell and even Solanke last season who dominated the Championship. We know these guys aren't Premier League proven, and I know I've been saying this so much, but I'm telling you, the Premier League's a different level, and you need players who have played at the biggest level so they can ensure that the team stays composed, still fill them with confidence. So the fact that Bournemouth don't really have that much in this squad, they had Gary Cahill last year. I don't know why they got rid of him, although maybe he did decline in terms of his play, but at the end of the day, he has been in relegation scraps, he has been in relegation battles before with Bolton, and has played at the highest level at Chelsea. Why not have that presence in the locker room? It doesn't make sense. However, at the end of the day, like I said with Mitrovic, I feel like Solanke has been a fringe player when it comes to the Premier League and the Championship. Yes, he bagged like 27 goals last year in the Championship and 7 assists, but at the end of the day, he has been given golden opportunities at the top level at Chelsea and Liverpool and other clubs, and he has not proven himself. Yes, he's 24, more matured, more confident, but I just don't feel like he's up to the level to be the main man to ensure Bournemouth survival. Also, Scott Parker has been relegated before at Fulham when he managed them, so I feel like this is going to be another reason why Bournemouth will get relegated. So those are the three teams I think will get relegated: Bournemouth, Fulham and Southampton.